Good evening, family. I really didn't want to have to bring this stream to you, to be honest with you, but I've had numerous texts and been kind of following it, not saying a whole lot. Mentioned it earlier on my stream, and but it looks like there is some closure as to ADRIANA Davidson's whereabouts. So we're going to cook on it tonight. The way I see it, it seems like somebody failed her. And this is only my opinion, but maybe after I speak on it for a bit, you may share the same ideology that I share. I'm going to drop my theme music just so I can get my shares out, and we'll get right back at it in a couple minutes here.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a bird, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Good evening once again, family. Just letting my camera come up here. Whenever there's something dealing with children, it strikes me in another way, but I think there needs to be some questions answered. And my first question is, who failed this young lady? Really, who failed Addie? I know that she was known by that nickname, but when we first heard about this last week, you know, it seemed as though it could be another one of those situations where Youngin might have just wanted to go off and be with some friends, maybe, hang out. It was a Friday. Not really understanding exactly where we were, with this. Family said that she had contacted them somewhere right around 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's just after school was checked in. And then she was last seen by her friends a couple hours later, right outside the school. And I guess where I have a problem with all of this is there's cameras everywhere. And it looks like, or it has sounded like, they've had actual footage of her on the grounds, never getting into a vehicle, never running or whatever away, but they captured her at some point on the grounds. And then her cell phone, excuse me, I'm trying to get this tickle out. Let me get a drink here. And then her cell phone was found on the tennis courts. And I'm going to bring this image up here just to give it a little bit more context. I did an aerial screenshot. Now, this is the school that she goes to, the grounds of the school. And there's two vertical rectangles. One is the main football field, and where that X is where they're saying they found her, behind the bleachers. And where the circle is the tennis courts, where they've said that her cell phone was found. Now, that's really not that far of a distance. And if her family heard from her at 9, her friends last saw her at 11, and they ended up finding her body, which is just ludicrous to me, 3 days later, some 60 yards, maybe 70 yards away from where her cell phone was picked up and then turned into the office. And there were search parties. You had Arbor Police out there. You had the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office out there. I'm not sure if the Michigan State Police was involved, but I'm wondering why they weren't. Why this wasn't a high alert situation. You have a child that was seen and heard from by her family on the school grounds, but never seen leave. And no one ever said, hey, I saw her jump into a car with somebody, or I saw somebody looking at her, possibly, could have been strange, whatever. All of a sudden, she's just gone. But to find her 3 days later, 3 days later, behind these bleachers of the football field, which is just 60, like I said, 60, 70 yards, maybe. I could be a little off in that. Let's just say it's a football length field. Actually, we can look at the football length field, and the distance from the corner of the football field to the corner of the tennis court looks like it could be 100 yards. Let's say that. Let's just say it's 100 yards. Because there's a perimeter around the tennis court, so I'm not sure exactly if her phone was found right in the middle of the tennis courts, which is odd to me because there was snow on the ground. So somebody found her phone on the tennis courts, which have to be snow covered. I'm sure they're not plowing the tennis courts in the middle of the winter. So I have questions about that, about them finding her cell phone on the tennis courts. And once they did put the search parties out, how weren't they able to find her just let's say now 100 yards away? I never really did that measuring. I never did that measuring, but yeah, if we look at the football field, and we know that's 100 yards, and if we gauge that by in between the tennis court and the football field, let's say it's 100 yards. How is that not covered? If you're all over these school grounds and you have video footage of her on the school grounds, how was she not found until today? And I know that they said that Ann Arbor Police conducted the investigation, but the sheriff's office had something to do with this. And I'm wondering why Michigan State Police didn't have something to do with this. I'm just wondering why. And I'm not trying to be neglecting to the chat room right now. I'm just trying to really get this going. But I appreciate you, Brother Brian. Free as always, back to the basics. I appreciate you. Good evening. This is so troubling because if she was actually on the school grounds the whole time, and we had 2 police agencies looking for her and numerous other people besides her family and friends, how was she not found until today? Because I have questions. My main questions are, what if she could have been found midday Friday? Was she in some type of distress where she possibly could have been saved? Because it doesn't sound like she ever left the school grounds. So if we're in a position like that to look at that, I mean, I don't want to put it out there that it was a suicide because I haven't been told so. But if she did take her own life, could she have possibly been saved had someone got to her sooner? Did she die of hypothermia? Did she die of some type of overdose? Was there previous medical conditions that should have sent possibly her family into a higher alert? And once the agencies were contacted to say, hey, she's been dealing with this, we really want to get on this, because from what I know, nobody started really looking for her until after midnight. I mean, if you follow what MLive has put up, if you follow what some of the other news outlets, things really didn't get serious for like 12 hours later. How did they let all of the daylight go, all of the evening go, and then get out and start looking for her? Then they had Saturday, then they had Sunday, and she wasn't found until today. I'm not understanding any of this. And I don't want anybody else to understand it until we have the actual truth, because this can get swept up under the rug. And this young lady, this 15-year-old 10th grade high school student, is now gone. And nobody's saying anything as to how she was not found, if there were search parties out by 2 police agencies at least. Like I said, I haven't verified that Michigan State Police was ever on the case, but I don't know how they couldn't be. I don't know how they could. As far as I know, Ann Arbor Police Department is still functioning without a chief, unless one was named and they've kept it quiet. So we still have a monster without a head in Ann Arbor. And as far as I'm concerned, the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office is functioning without a head as well, and has functioned without a head over a decade with Jerry Clayton at the helm. And now the person who has been the community engagement officer is now slated to be the next sheriff, I guess, to replace him. And we already know his competency level in my book. I know a lot of people love Derek Jackson, but I have many reasons not to like Derek Jackson. But he's already been out there, and I'm going to share this screen. Give me 1 second. Let me share this screen so we can kind of go about it and see what he had to say, because I found it appalling. Once again, I don't like really anytime he's ever in front of the microphone or anytime they pull any type of Q&A with him, because he sounds so lost. And I don't need people to sound or look lost in a situation. And he does. But this was the, excuse me. This was the MLive article. And it says, missing Ann Arbor area teen found dead near Pioneer High School. An Ann Arbor area teen missing since Friday has been found dead, officials confirmed. At 1 p.m. Monday, January 30th, a Washtenaw County a canine unit found her today, but a canine unit couldn't find her Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I mean, follow me here. Did we not pull the dogs out until today? Was it just a foot search till today? When you had nothing to go on? I'm sure by now they've reached out to the family. They've gotten some sense of Addie's clothing. And why wasn't the canine unit out on the grounds of Pioneer High School Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? A Washtenaw County canine unit located the body of Adriana Davidson near the athletic fields of Ann Arbor Pioneer High School, according to the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office. At this early stage in the investigation, there are no indications of foul play. Really? A 15-year-old is dead. Someone had sights on her at 11 a.m. Her family heard her voice at 9 a.m. And it was said that they seen her on video, but never leaving the grounds. There's no foul play there. Our sincere condolences go out to the friends and family of Adriana. Now, as a spokesperson for the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office, which is Derek Jackson, who is now running for sheriff, I probably would have sent my sincerest condolences out to Adriana's family before I sent them out to her friends. I'm understanding and I'm empathetic to the fact that we're talking about a teenager, but we're also talking about a mother and a father that lost their daughter. I don't know if she has siblings, and my heart goes out to them as well. Our sincere condolences go out to the friends and family of Adriana. Say her whole name. You're acting as if you knew her, Derek. And I have to understand, if you did know her, maybe you would have did a better job at searching for her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you would have put the dogs out then. You remain in our thoughts and prayers. Really? It just happened. You're acting as if this has been going on for months. No, it went on for days when it shouldn't have went on for hours or even minutes. How is a 15-year-old left to just go missing? I mean, if she was missing at 11 o'clock, what happened to her third hour, her fourth hour, her fifth hour, her sixth hour, her seventh hour classes? Nobody said nothing. We would like to thank everyone for your assistance in spreading the word, sharing tips, and offering your support. It helped you none, Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office, Ann Arbor Police Department. Because if you would have moved on some of those tips, if you would have moved on whatever word had been spread, if you would have been fully committed to the support that was offered, maybe she would still be here, because she never left the grounds. She never left the grounds. The family began attempting to locate her when she didn't come home, but called police after being unable to do so. The Ann Arbor Police Department will be taking over the death investigation as the scene is within city limits. So the sheriff's office came in to make a statement, but they're not going to be doing any post-investigating. Michigan State Police still hasn't been mentioned. And now we have a police agency that doesn't even have a chief running this investigation. I hope that the Davison family has a team of attorneys. Somebody needs to answer questions at Ann Arbor Public Schools, Ann Arbor Police Department, and the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office. You found her cell phone at 11 a.m. And I know teenagers with cell phones. Trust me. They just don't go anywhere without them. And if she had her cell phone and then all of a sudden it's found on the tennis courts, why weren't the dogs brought out then? I'm seeing in the chat that people are saying that she overdosed and her friends left her. That's a horrible way to go. A horrible way to go. And if that is the case, they knew she was missing at 11 a.m. because her phone was turned in, even if her family didn't know anything until after school. I'm not sure what her protocol was for leaving school and coming home. Did she have an after-school job? Did she normally come straight home or spend a couple hours after school, at school, or at a friend's house? I don't know. And at this point, it's all moot because her cell phone had been found on the tennis courts, which I said I presume that they have snow on them because we just had a blizzard. There had just been 2 days of school that had been out. And I don't think they shoveled the tennis courts in the middle of winter. So if somebody found her phone and turned it in, why wasn't her family contacted then? Why did her family only become aware that something had gone awry after she didn't come home from school? That's where my problem is with all of this. I'm not trying to be fair here, Dana. I'm not trying to be fair. I'm quite biased in this situation. I'm biased for Addie. Because if you have all of this information on Friday, her family talked to her at 9, her cell phone was found at 11, why weren't the authorities called? I know y'all get tired of hearing me talk about back in my day, but back in my day, we had Mrs. Pageant, and Pioneer had Officer, what's his name? Officer Levine? Divine Levine? I can't remember exactly what his name was, but he was a bulldog. Don't they have police liaisons anymore? Where he might have just been able to say, hey, something's up here. I'm going to start walking the grounds. Or she or a group. Where are all the community assistants at? They repackaged hall monitors and they call them community assistants. Where were they all at? Once her cell phone was turned in, why weren't people looking for her then? She might have been saved. If I'm hearing what is true, you generally don't instantaneously die from an overdose. There is a decompression. She might have been able to be captured, gotten to the medical center, and saved. It doesn't make any sense to me why the authorities didn't get involved once her phone was found. In the times that we're living in now, the times that we are living in now, Anytime something like this comes up, there should be a high alert. She went to a school. The school police liaison, if they're available, should have been notified. Ann Arbor Police should have been notified. Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office should have been notified. Michigan State Police should have been notified. Saline Police Department should have been notified. They're right up the street. Anybody, Pittsfield Police Department, anybody that could have possibly been able to put eyes on her. But we didn't need all that because she never left the school grounds. She never left the school grounds. She was here the whole time. The circle is where the tennis courts are. The X is where they say they found her. That's about 100 yards. Who looked? I want to know where the search party was. Who did they have out there looking? And you didn't break the dogs out until today? I mean, I ain't went to nobody's police academy. I don't have a criminal justice degree. I've watched a lot of cop shows, though, and they could have went to her school locker, gym locker, picked up a scent. They probably could have got a scent off her cell phone and had the dogs running the yard. But that didn't happen till today. And I'm not discounting the fact that the family didn't think it was strange until she didn't come home a couple hours after school. I'm talking about the time that they have possession of our children, which is somewhere right around 7:30, 7:40 in the morning till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm looking at the principals. I'm looking at the teachers. And now, if she did overdose, then that means she was with some people. And what I do know about community assistants, hall monitors, as we called them back, and they all up in everybody's business. I don't know a hall monitor that ain't up in somebody's business. And you trying to tell me that they see her walk down the hall every single day with her girlfriends, with these little boys, and then all of a sudden she's not in play. Nobody asked where Addie was. From what I heard, she was pretty personable, pretty friendly. Kids loved her. So all of a sudden, she's not in the paint one day, and y'all don't say nothing. Y'all don't know nothing. We know this. There's cameras everywhere. I believe the whole city of Ann Arbor is cammed up on the low, but they don't really talk about it, especially seeing that you're right there next to Michigan Stadium. Let something happen to somebody at Michigan Stadium. I bet you they could capture every single angle that you needed. I bet you that golf course is cammed up, Pioneers parking lot's cammed up. You know the stadium's cammed up. But they couldn't find a body 100 yards away from where her cell phone was found on the same school grounds of the same school that she went to. Get the hell out of here with that. This is what I don't understand, Free. Phone found at 11 a.m. Parents didn't get concerned until 5 or 6. In between that time, how come Ann Arbor Police wasn't contacted? How come the Ann Arbor Public Schools weren't on alert? And nobody asked in the school, where's Addie? Where's Addie? Because if somebody was with her, and if that's correct, that they did leave her, somebody would have got shook up. Somebody would have fessed up. This is not at all logical. that a 15-year-old lay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and wasn't found till Monday after they said there were search parties out, police agencies and whatnot, and she never left the school grounds. I mean, I know we get phone calls in the evening time if Natty's tardy from a class or she's missed a class, but she missed her whole afternoon. And she's a sophomore, not a senior. I'm calling the parents once her phone is found. Did she come home sick? Did you know about her phone being lost? But these people don't find out anything until 5-6 hours later. And then official searches didn't start until after that. This doesn't even sound remotely possible. But it happened right here in Washtenaw County, right here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But there's no foul play. That's not common for a 15-year-old to just drop off the map and they find her body 3 days later in one spot, but her cell phone had already been picked up and turned in 3 days earlier. You don't find that strange? You don't call that foul play? What's considered foul play nowadays? Have we gotten so loose as a society? Unless it looks like there's some serious situations happening where somebody else could have been involved and they don't know, they call that foul play. So this is open and shut. They've already proven what's happened. They just don't want to release it yet. Obviously, they really don't know what's happened if there's still an ongoing investigation that Ann Arbor Police Department is about to take over. I'm just a villager. It's what I do. And I'm a father of girls, so this kind of hits home. Period. A teenage girl without her cell phone, please. The only way you're going to find a teenage girl in this day and age without her cell phone is if she doesn't have one. I'm not sure what's really happening here. And the fact that the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office, which is the superior police agency in the county, has backed away from this, and Ann Arbor Police is just going to take it on home, is more telling than not. And the person who gave that official statement to make sure that we know that they're praying for her family after they're going to be praying for their friends, who's running for sheriff, Derek Jackson, should just give everybody a clue. You don't want this individual running the county. I need police policing, not social workers policing. Only time I need a social worker on a police job is when we're dealing with a mental illness case, so they don't blow the man or woman away. The deuce has a way of making things go away. They can make bad press disappear. If you're looking for the truth, don't go to MLive. This is past unfortunate. Because the situation is, if her family would have even known beforehand that this was odd, that her phone was missing. Really, what would have been done then? Her phone was turned in and her family wasn't even contacted. Her mother or her father, whoever her guardians were, they should have been contacted once her phone was found. Why didn't that happen? She disappeared into thin air and was still at school. Still on the grounds. And nobody found her. I mean, isn't that where they put the trucks and stuff when they plow and all that stuff? Isn't that where they put all that equipment? Nobody was up around the back area of that football field during those days of it snowing and whatnot? Nobody went in there Friday, Saturday, Sunday? They just happened to open the gates up and let the dogs in today? Because isn't that usually gated off? Somebody that's under the inducement of drugs, she climbed a fence. How'd she get in? How did she get into the football field? Is it left open now to the public? I didn't know that. They always gated it off, is what I thought. This is beyond odd, y'all. It's beyond odd. I hope her family has attorneys. And they need to get up to the Ann Arbor Public School building ASAP and start demanding every single piece of camera footage where they saw her and obviously where nobody tracked her. I don't get it. And if they're saying she overdosed on drugs, did her family know that there was an issue with substances? Because if her family knew, there was possibly a chance that other people knew in the school, and if her phone was found, why wasn't somebody on more or on a higher alert than they were? Beyond sorry. I realize that policing is a thankless job in a lot of ways, but this here is a failure. Starting with the public school system, starting with Pioneer High School. Whoever was given that phone, if they didn't take that to a higher up, I have a hard time believing that whoever turned that phone in, they turned it into the head principal. So they probably turned it into the office, and then what happened? What, they just throw it into a drawer? They didn't call the family and say, hey, we got your phone. Somebody said this is Addie's phone. Have you heard from her? Yeah, we talked to her at 9 a.m. It's 11 and she doesn't have her phone. Didn't get to this hour, didn't get to that hour, didn't get to that hour. Nobody's looking. Nobody's thinking of nothing. That's where I would go with it. I mean, what's the point of having the cameras all over the grounds of the school if you're not checking them? Why isn't somebody checking those things? I mean, if you got school going on and you see people walking away from the school, not towards exterior classrooms or whatever, to cars and things like that, You see somebody wandering over to the football field, you know there ain't a football game over there. You know gym class ain't being held over there. I want to know how she wasn't found until today. I thought I read that the person that found the phone gave it to her boyfriend. That could be bullshit, but it could explain why the school didn't jump sooner. A student gave the phone to the friend Adriana was texting. See, I'm finding out more about this whole thing just as I speak. And I don't know who the boyfriend is. If he's got the phone, but he's not wondering where his girlfriend is, something tells me that he might have had something to do with her being outside. Was he taking drugs with Adriana too? Did he see her fall out at the football field and didn't say nothing? Because now things get really deep. Now they get really deep. So the best friend, not the boyfriend, but the best friend. Okay. I don't want no best friends if that's how they're going to act. The best friend gave the phone to Adriana's father, and the boyfriend unlocked it for the father. Got it. My condolences go out to that father. And they've let the whole school day go. And they're holding on to the device that they'd be able to communicate with Adriana, and still nobody does anything till the next day. This ain't one of those things, girls will be girls, boys will be boys, boys and girls will be boys and girls. No, something's wrong here. So the school didn't know anything off rip. Okay. That doesn't happen often. I appreciate you, Jacksons. I guess I'm just because I'm old school. I mean, if somebody gives me my friend's phone, I'll be like, well, where are they at? I'm looking to give them their phone back. I'm trying to go find. Well, last time I seen them, it was over here. Okay, well, let's go over there. I'm not going to let that just lie. And the boyfriend was able to unlock the phone. So the boyfriend had the phone, and he knows that there might have been some distress, and he did nothing. Okay. I've seen no messages. If you're questioning me, I've seen no text messages. And I'm not saying any of this because I want to see somebody hemmed up, but somebody has to be culpable for this. And if we're saying that the school officials had no idea as to what was going on, put them all in a room. Absolutely. Put them all in a room. Because if she died of a drug overdose, they doing drugs too. Who's next? I would set it up that way. Who's going to be next? We already know what's happening here with Addie. Who's going to be next? You go into the morgue. You go into jail. Who's going to be next? This is a real problem here. This is a real problem. And it's not just because of Addie. Somebody is going to have this happen to them again. There's still, but 5 more months of school left. There's already been a couple kids lost this year in this area. Kids coming up missing seems like almost every month. Now, I know a lot of them come back home because they do the little runaway thing, go somewhere with their boyfriend, but many of them aren't coming back home. And if the phone was on the tennis court and nobody was by the phone, nobody knew where Addie went? Nobody went to check on her? I just have so many questions. Because once the family did find out, why wasn't anything put into play after? I mean, I can steer this so many different directions. I don't want to place any blame on the family, but I'm sorry. If I'm finding out at 5 or 6, I'm out my house at 5:10 or 6:10, whatever it was. I don't believe I could wait till after midnight to say something to the police. And that's just my cynicism with police. You tell me where you last seen my child, I'm going there first. I'm going there first. I don't think that the dogs could have waited to get out there. Because, see, somebody would have had to tell me something Friday night. Well, I guess it's Saturday morning if it was at 12 a.m. Somebody's got to tell me something. Now, I ain't trying to come off like Boss Hogg or nothing, but a deranged father is not what you want in this case. Somebody gonna do some policing. Now, do you want me to self-deputize? I can do that. But why wasn't Ann Arbor Police Department, Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office, other local police agencies on point here? I've seen it in other towns where you'll see the neighboring cities come in for a case like this. A missing child. You've got 4 police agencies within a 3 to 4 mile radius. Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County Sheriff, Saline, and Pittsfield Police Department. And they all got dogs. They all got K-9 units. But they didn't send the dogs out until Monday. Come on now. I was really trying to stay away from that. I'm not trying to fearmonger here. But come on now. Are we really in a situation that nobody let that cross her mind? She got snatched up. I mean, she gets snatched up at Pioneer. They're to the highway within 90 seconds. And she gone. She gone. But this child never left the school grounds. I guess I'm overprotective. I'm a cynic at heart. But I just don't trust who we have running these police agencies, and the fact that Ann Arbor doesn't have anybody running the police agency. And we have the incompetence of Jerry Clayton and his cohorts running the sheriff's office. We just don't have anything worthwhile to solve cases like this. No, we don't chalk a W up for the WCSO K9 unit. This is an L, an L, an L, an L. Because if she did overdose, as people are stating, she could have possibly been saved. And I can't give teenagers any more credit than I can give teenagers, especially in this text generation, this non-communicative generation, this acronym generation. I can't give them any credit. And whether it was the best friend, the boyfriend, I don't know, whatever friend that had that cell phone and that probably knew she was in some type of distress. This ain't the last time it's going to happen. Might not even be the last time it happens at that school. And it's where we are because of what we're allowing to happen in our school systems, in our homes. I get tired of kids saying they're grown, thinking they're grown, because they're not. But you give a kid, a teenager now, a cell phone and a little bit of freedom, they think they run the world. And I have a hard time believing that if she did die of some type of substance overdose, that it was the first time that it happened. I'm not going to hold y'all up all night on this, but I had to do this because my conscience wasn't clear. I just couldn't speak on it ignorantly. And there was something that just wasn't sitting right with me when I saw this. It just wasn't sitting right. You know, you just didn't see a kid that, you know, she might just checked herself out. I'm thinking she got snatched up. I'm thinking that, you know, she might have met somebody online. That's happening a lot right now, y'all. These creeps are coming for our daughters, coming out of state with the hopes of having sex. But it's not having sex. It's raping our daughters. Our daughters are meeting creeps online and they setting up where they think they 12, 13, 14 years old. 90% of the time, it's the police. But that 10% of the time that it's not, this is what's happening. And you get some who just want to come get their rocks off, and then you get others who snatch them up, and they don't come back, y'all. We got to tighten this shit up. Because it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I wasn't here to try to piece the puzzle together. I feel that somebody failed Addie. I mean, who knows? Did she struggle long? Was it a short period of time? We don't know. We never will know. They should be able to give us a time of death And God forbid that they say she struggled 3, 4, 5 hours after. That means somebody could have found her. That means that school was still in. Teachers, administrators, other faculty were still there. I don't know if there was a basketball game or basketball games on Friday at Pioneer. He doesn't miss a camera op. No, he doesn't miss a camera. He's going to jump in front of the cameras. He's doing that. This is free campaigning for him. Did he have his sheriff's uniform on? You know, he likes to wear his police uniform when he gets on camera. Looks like a little kid. Don't even look like that uniform don't even fit him right. Why can't they get him a uniform that fits? Looks like a little boy in a grown man police uniform. No, he ain't gonna miss a camera op. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Missing on the 27th, found on the 30th. Oh, that's pre-recorded. Yeah, he's probably home in bed now. I presume his bed. But there's chances it could be someone else's. We have history. We know. We have knowledge. I feel for her family. I feel for that mother. I feel for that father. It's not that I don't feel for her friends, but the ones who possibly could have been in play to help save her, I have to wonder, what was their reasoning for not? I understand fear. I understand it. You're scared. Some of us are just cut different. I appreciate everybody that's been in the chat. Wherever you are, if you'd like this video, help me catch that algorithm, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Facebook, the viewers we have over on Twitter. Catching a lot of vibe on Twitter. I have no idea why, because I really don't get on Twitter that much. But I talk about a lot of different things, and they're generally not this, but this is something that hit home. You never want to be on the other end of this. I can't fathom what it would be like if somebody came and gave me my daughter's cell phone and said, I don't know where she's at. To young Addie, rest in power. To her family, thoughts and love to you. And hopefully you get all the answers to all your questions. You'll never have true closure. I get that. But it didn't have to be this. it didn't have to be this. One love.
Free. Well then, show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well then, stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.